Well, we're 4 weeks into the Premier League season, and there's 4 teams tied on 10 points. Is this going to be another really close title race? This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're tuning in from. Thanks for listening. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal, no longer the pointless Arsenal. Up on this top row, if you're watching on YouTube with me, is Brad. He supports Chelsea, the European champions. And down below us, if you're watching on YouTube, is Sean. He supports Tottenham. How are we doing, guys? What's going on?
Great. And you forgot to add the transfer deadline winners too. Transfer window winners. You said it last week that Chelsea had the best transfer window, so I just wanted to make sure the viewers still heard that.
Oh,
but hey, and congrats on Arsenal not being at the bottom anymore. I mean, still in the relegation battle, but
Brad,
you passed your 6-pointer.
Brad, have you been thinking about that comment about the transfer window winners for a week?
Yeah.
That's
I'm waiting.
Wow.
I've been waiting.
Man, I'm glad I don't live your life. Sean, how are you?
Title race? I mean, it all looks the same from 7th, right?
Yeah. Basically, right?
We're right back at home. Back at home, right in 7th, baby.
Since you brought it up, we'll take a look at the table. But first, if you could, hit us with a like, a comment, a subscribe, a follow, all those good things that help those algorithms help spread the word of Red Card Radio around the internet world. It would mean a great deal to us if you could, give us a great review on whatever reviewing platform you have. Hopefully do that. If not, there might be some sort of, mild inconvenience. Sean, you tell the people something.
Yeah. What could happen to you if you do not do all of those things is you might spring a hole in the heel of your sock early on in the day, and then you got to tough it out through the rest of the day with your heel sticking to the bottom of your shoe.
Dang.
Ooh, that's annoying.
Oh, yeah. It's really mildly inconvenient.
it's exceedingly mildly inconvenient. All right, so what we got on the docket for you fine people whenever you're listening to this podcast, because I don't want to say evening or morning, whatever. We're gonna hit our comments from last week. Not a whole lot, so we don't have a whole lot to dig into there. We're going to cover the results from last week before we look forward to, and this is a full slate of football, like a full week of football going on right here. We've got Europe back starting this midweek, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the EPL has 10 games this weekend starting on Friday and through, I think there's games on Sunday. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure there's games on Sunday. Yeah, there's games on Sunday. So yeah, that's what we got on the docket for everyone this evening. And so let's hit those comments from last week. Let's see what we got. We kind of primarily focused last week on the transfer window, and I was of the opinion that Liverpool had a very poor transfer window. And
they did.
Brad agreed with that, even though he thought Arsenal had the worst, which is
they did too.
It's not like a both thing; it's an either or when you're saying someone has the worst of something, Brad.
But before this week, were you guys not joint bottom of the table?
Yeah.
So, I think you can have two people losing.
We're talking about transfer window, bro. Anyway, Jimmy had this question asked to him of Will in our YouTube comments. Will was curious to hear what Jimmy's take was on Liverpool's transfer window. Jimmy responded, he thought it was a tough one. With any top team, if you don't spend $100 million in the summer transfer window, it seems like you failed nowadays. Every Liverpool fan should have already had their expectations set going into the window, which I think is generally true for Liverpool supporters. Basically, he goes on to say that the Liverpool were never going to spend like City, like Chelsea, like Arsenal were going to, and that if you like, the reason why Liverpool looked so frail last year was because they were hit with an unbelievable number of injuries. And so if you don't have an aberration like last year with all those injuries, that the team's squad depth isn't actually that bad. He was really wishing that Origi and Ox would be offloaded, but that didn't happen. So he's pretty even keeled about the Liverpool transfer window. Yeah, I don't think that that's like a bad take personally. I think it's probably a very measured take for your club's transfer business if you're a Liverpool supporter. I'm aware that there are a lot of Liverpool supporters who are very disappointed in their transfer business this window. So
I think you can combine the part he's arguing and the part he's arguing against, in the sense that I think, to his point, you could have offloaded Ox and Origi, not really unnecessary players, but guys you can afford to get rid of. I think they only shed Shaqiri. Is that right?
Yeah, basically
they didn't shed a lot.
I think they sold
Shaqiri.
They sold some youth product, like some young guys, as well.
And Shaqiri ran out of the team. So
traditionally, they don't make big splashes anyway.
Yeah.
Virgil was like not an anomaly. It's not like they don't go spend money, but that one was a big splash for them. That's not something they normally do, and still got good business on such a great player. I don't think what was it? It was something around 70, 65, 70?
72 million.
Yeah,
British sterling, I believe.
Bullion, gold bullion.
Not sterling pounds.
Yeah, so I think to both the point he's arguing against and for is you could have offloaded those fringe players, got 20, 30 million, and then just added some depth that way.
Yeah.
They usually do good business where they could get some cheap backup players.
Yeah, I think the problem with I wonder if what Klopp is thinking going into this transfer window is, even if I get rid of Ox, someone like Ox, who played for Liverpool this weekend, if I get rid of Ox, I'm not going to have a replacement. I'm not going to be we're not going to buy someone, right? And so, is Ox better to us? Is Ox better to us to be on the team? Now, Origi is a tough one because he wasn't even named to the bench this weekend. So, like, Liverpool have been pretty depleted in the attacking department, and then Origi wasn't named to the bench. That's, I think, an indictment of what Klopp thinks of him.
Well, Ox also is like a Henderson type. Like, he could play in multiple roles on the team.
Yeah.
So as far as a depth chart goes, it makes him more valuable as a player on the team versus off the team, because he can play. He can play a fullback. He can play a center mid. He can play on the right wing if he needs to. So yeah, or still on the left. Either way, my point still stands. He can play at multiple levels and at an adequate enough clip that he doesn't so largely disadvantage your team that it puts you in a bad position. He's adequate enough.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I will tease this from the end of Jimmy's comment. He had one sentence at the end of his first paragraph said, "Others will argue we don't need to sign people because we had Thiago this year and we've been grooming Harvey Elliott for years for this." That's a bit of a teaser, because
hey, Jimmy.
Yeah, Harvey Elliott had a very unfortunate weekend, which we will discuss when we talk about the Liverpool game. But as always, we really appreciate comments, all that stuff.
Hey.
What's up?
We got a 5-star review this week.
Excuse me. Yes, there was an Apple Music or Apple Podcast comment. Brad, why don't you fill us in on that?
We got a 5-star review this week from friend of the pod. It's Kelly. She says she is happy to report that her dishwasher woes have subsided.
That's good.
Now that she's 5-starred and listens weekly.
Yep. See, that's smart biz. That's smart biz right there.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, "Y'all kittens are hilarious. Thank you for making a podcast that makes me happy. All the exclamation points keep being amazing." So guys, if you don't want your dishwasher, breaking, if you don't want holes in your socks,
I mean,
5-star review it. We'll read them out loud.
I don't know about the kittens comment personally, but I appreciate the support. Yeah. And were there anything else you guys needed to
That was the only.
All right.
That was the only 5-star review this week. We're gonna have more next week, guys.
Right, because you don't want your sock to get screwed up. All right.
Yeah.
Let's take.
I wanted to point out something before we dive in. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
I wanted to distinguish that I confused 2 players last week.
Oh, this is the mea culpa.
I just want to make sure I got it right. Patson Daka was not a darling of the Euro. In fact, he's not even from Europe. I was confusing him with Jeremy Doku of Belgium. So, great signing anyway last year. I'm sure he's going to be a great player. I wanted to make that distinction that I got that horribly wrong.
Well, we appreciate your forthrightness in wanting to clear the air, Sean.
We just want to make sure we're getting stuff accurate around here. This is This is the world's foremost authority on all things European, but mainly English Premier League, European soccer, and English Premier League. So we want to make sure we're being accurate.
Yeah, like this is high class stuff. If you're listening to this, your social stock is going up because you're listening to this. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Totally.
All right, so I got the table pulled up here if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us, I'll kind of give you a quick rundown. We've got 4 teams at the top on 10 points. We've got Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Everton, who got a win today. Manchester City and Brighton and Hove and Tottenham are all tied on 9 points. We get down to West Ham is on 8 points in 8th position. Leicester, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Villa, Wolves, Southampton, Watford, Arsenal, Leeds follow, and then in 18th is Burnley, 19th is Newcastle, 20th is Norwich City. Burnley and Newcastle each have a point, and Norwich City are still on a big goose egg. That's what the table looks like as of the playing of games through match week 4. And yeah, so still have a couple teams who haven't lost yet. So the invincible season is still on for some teams. We'll see if they can. Anyone can pull that out. I have my doubts. But yeah, so let's kind of talk about match week 4. So quick overview. The weekend started on Saturday. Crystal Palace was hosting Tottenham Hotspurs. Tottenham trying to stay hot. They were on pace for 114 points, the plus 38 goal difference. Perfect season. They were lined up, and my boy Patrick Vieira said, nope. Arsenal legend, shut that down. Palace, shellac. I don't know what shellack's not a word, but shellac. Spurs 3-0. Beat them down. Arsenal hosted Norwich, beat them 1-0 in the 19th versus 20th battle. That propels Arsenal out of the relegation zone. Brentford loses again to Brighton, 0-1. Leicester hosting Manchester City lost 0-1. Manchester United hosting Newcastle beat them 4-1 on Cristiano Ronaldo's return to Old Trafford. He scored 2 in that match. One was a rebound. One was quite a nice goal. So, 50% in terms of like quality goals. So we'll see. Jury's still out, in my opinion, on Cristiano Ronaldo. Southampton hosted West Ham, 0-0 draw. Watford hosted Wolves, lost 0-2. Chelsea hosted Villa, the depleted Aston Villa, losing their starting goalkeeper and one of their central attacking midfielders due to international duty quarantine restrictions. Chelsea beat Villa 3-0. And then Leeds hosted Liverpool. Leeds lost by 3-0. Again, there was a red card in that match for the tackle on Harvey Elliott that did, in fact, break Harvey Elliott's, or dislocated his ankle. I don't know if it broke a bone, but I'm pretty sure, I know it for a fact dislocated his ankle. Harvey Elliott's going to be out probably for the remainder of the season, would be my guess. We might see him in like late April, possibly, but that seems like a long shot. I would just shut him down for the season, in my opinion. And then Everton beat Burnley today by a score of 3-1. That was quite a nice. It was a fun match. I watched. I came in on the in the second half. It was 0-0 at halftime, and within like 15 minutes, 4 goals had been scored, or maybe it was like 20 minutes, 4 goals had been scored. It was a barn burner there. Everton almost had a fourth, but they were marginally offside Not marginally. They were offside on the fourth goal. But Everton just turned the screws, man. Everton's playing pretty well right now. Rafa's got them teed up, in my opinion. But we're gonna circle all the way back around. Sean, you warned us about this. You've been warning us about Crystal Palace and Tottenham for however long we've been doing this podcast. What, like 10 months now? 11 months? However long we've been doing this. You've been warning that for some reason Crystal Palace is the kryptonite to Tottenham. And, you're right again. What happened?
You know what? Maybe we should get an "I'm right" button, where it's like Sean was right again.
That would be seldomly used, but
very seldomly used.
All right. No, I'm pretty sure I said last week that is the most predictable result on the entire schedule is struggling or losing to Palace.
Bro, that wasn't even a struggle. Like, that wasn't a game, y'all. Even before the red card, you guys weren't in that game.
So to take it to a technical side, so we talked about over the past 2 weeks, this style of Nuno is to give up possession and play for the counter, and play solid defense, which has worked so far because we didn't get a red, which is absolutely what they were still doing, even still on a red, because it was 18 shots, 63% possession. We were outshot 18-2.
Yeah.
Possession was 63-37, obviously. But, yeah, so if you're going to play that game, you need all 11. And you need a center back.
Let's talk about that red card, because Tanganga got a yellow card in a scuffle with Wilfried Zaha in the first half. They both got yellow cards. And then Tanganga gets a second yellow card early in the second half for a dangerous tackle, I would say. It's probably a yellow card. Sometimes in those situations you see referees not give the second yellow, but it was probably a deserved second yellow card.
Yeah, sure. He came in studs up about a little above the ankle.
Yeah,
clearly a dangerous play.
Yeah,
and 5 yards away from the ref, not even 2 yards away from the ref.
I think John,
but I want to bring it back.
It was John Moss, right? He was like standing right there.
Yeah. I want to take this back to the beginning. So in the 12th minute, Dyer goes off hurt. Tanganga is like, all right, this is a dire situation. Not like a bad situation, but like an Eric Dyer situation, But I mean, it still was dire. But homie lets Zaha get the better of him because I think somebody was down hurt, or somebody and Crystal Palace kept playing. So Tanganga tackled Zaha, and then there was a scuffle.
Punched him in the face.
Right. Probably a red.
Tanganga should have been sent off there, in my opinion.
Probably a red. Ben Davies probably deserved a card too for that handball. That handball was. My arm was down here. No, homie, that arm was all the way out here. Like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, but VAR looked at it, right? So
I'm with you.
I know
but then Tanganga decided, hey, I got this slide tackle. This is what Dyer would do. He told me to do this. It was the silliest tackle ever.
I go back
did not look good.
I go back to Tanganga with Zaha in the first half. So he gives him the forearm shiver, the open palm punch to the chin, or whatever it was. Like, that's a yellow card. And then having the audacity to wrap him up and damn near headbutt him a couple times and getting into a shouting match with him, that's a second yellow card. Dude, I don't know if the forearm shiver to the face is the red card, but the entire situation was just I'm surprised. I'm surprised he was on the pitch after that.
Yeah, but even before that happened, and even before Dyer's injury, Tottenham did not look good. It wasn't that they were just defending and letting Crystal Palace have the ball. Crystal Palace was doing whatever they wanted. Zaha was eating on that left side all day long. It was just a matter of time before that got bad. Even without the red card, even without the penalty kick, that was going to happen.
You said that about City too, and then they didn't score, and then that's how it looked in the second game, and then they didn't score. So where do you draw the line of they are purposely playing like this versus you're walking a fine line? So that you bring up a good point, but I just want to point that out.
Sean, is it sustainable? Is it sustainable to play that way in the Premier League? Is it sustainable for Spurs? To play that way?
Here's the other little part, the little anecdote. Only had one center back on the bench. So Dyer gets hurt, Rodon comes on. That's it.
Yeah.
So when Tanganga gets a red, I didn't happen to catch it. I didn't get up for the early one. I'm assuming they would have dropped Skip.
Davies came on. And Davies played center back.
Yeah.
Okay, so they brought Winks off and put Davies at center back. Okay. So now you've got a backup center back and a left back playing center back. So, I mean, at that point, what do you expect?
But then why do you set? So here's
should be pointed out if anybody didn't watch it. All 3 goals were scored after the red.
Yeah. It was 0-0 when the red card happened.
But here's my point though. If the plan is to turtle and counter, then why is Royal and Regulon both playing? Like, you put a very aggressive defense on there.
Well, you need.
Well,
you need that. You need that. Yeah, I knew. I had to think about it, but I knew what you meant. You do that because you need them in the counter.
Yeah,
but there's no defensive structure then.
I don't know.
Regulon's serviceable. I wouldn't say he's a top end left back. Emerson, I don't know enough about yet, but Emerson's. I mean, Regulon's fine as left back. It just goes forward.
Right, but both of them were going forward.
Well, that's the point of starting the people in front of them. The back half of the midfield is Winks, Skip, Højbjerg. That's the point of that.
Yeah, because they're not super aggressive going forward. Is the argument?
There are basically all 3 center defensive mids. Basically, is their role essentially.
I feel like City was an anomaly, and if this is the style you're playing against the top 6 teams, you're not getting those results.
Yeah,
to be fair, and I think this is worse football than Jose's.
Yeah, so I think if you think if you look at teams who have been successful with the play ultra defensively and hit you on the counter, you think of Chelsea in what was it, 04-05 or something like that, when you guys conceded like 15 goals or something like that. I forget the season.
It's like a 23-year-old
90 goals though.
Yeah, it's like a 24-year-old John Terry and who's your other center?
That's my point. I don't think
top elite center backs.
I don't think that you guys have the personnel to pull that off.
So, it wasn't Cahill yet.
No. It was
way before Cahill.
So that's my point. Is I don't think that Tottenham have the defensive personnel to cede that much possession to certain teams. Maybe they pull it off in some situations, but I also think that you're gonna get bogged down against smaller teams because who have you guys played this season so far? I need to pull this up.
It was City, 2 games we should win, and then Palace.
Well, I'll pull up the results real quick. So you beat City, then you had Wolves, Watford. Watford, I think, is the one game. That's kind of more indicative of the point I'm trying to make, is that when you play against the smaller teams who aren't going to want to attack you, I think it's going to be a difficult game to win. It's going to be annoyingly boring to watch.
Well, that's where we miss, honestly. Dyer is, for all the grief I give him, he is a serviceable defending center back when he's not making bonehead mistakes. But he's not really a go forward anymore. Tanganga is not a go forward. But when we had Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen, those were go forward center backs. That's guys like Virgil van Dijk.
I don't know, but but Vertonghen and Toby are better defenders than Eric Dyer.
Yes, they could have done it, but their natural instinct is to push the ball up the pitch and then find the good pass and then get back in defense. Is what they did a lot, especially Vertonghen. Actually, both of them did really well at that, of kind of pushing that ball up to the circle and then finding the pass, or switch the field, or whatever the case may be. They weren't really pass it around the back type players. Okay. So that's what we're missing when it comes to those games, because now it's centered around, let's get some rocks at the back that don't need to do that, and let's get rocket ships up the wings. and we'll see how it goes. But that seems to be the plan. Rocket ships on the right and left, and rocks in the back.
I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys are built. I don't know if the squad is built to do that.
With three moles in a china shop in the back of the midfield.
I also don't. I mean, like, I don't think again that like it's sustainable to assume that you're going to block every kick, because like Hugo is not getting a ton of shots because everything is getting blocked. I don't think that continues. Like the amount of blocked shots from the team are very high, much higher than they normally are.
There are some defenders that are just really good about anticipating where shots are going to be. Sean's boy, Giorgio Chiellini, is exceptionally good at that.
Yes.
Right, but there are some center backs, some defenders that are just they're understanding of where the play is going to develop. They just get in those positions. But
you're not getting that from Dele. You're not getting that from Højbjerg. You're not getting that from the midfielders like you have been.
Yeah,
over the course of the season is what I'm saying.
I'm not trying to say. I'm not trying to say that Spurs players can do that. The current Spurs players can do that, but I'm just saying that there are some that. Yeah,
you're not wrong.
You have tie up time for us.
I got one more quick point I wanted to make, just on the red card and the scuffle and all of that. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I was talking about a player that's really good because he's slippery and gets a lot of fouls, and I can't remember who it was, but Wilfried Zaha is really, really like that, where he is just slippery enough that he makes you make a mistake and he gets in your head and he'll run his mouth. But it's frustrating to play against because he is so slippery and he always gets those little fouls, the penalties, and then gets up. And, of course, he's frustrated because you were too slow to keep up with him and you fouled. And it's a consistent thing, which is that's a really good quality to have.
Yeah.
Because it clearly worked. In an attacker, it clearly worked. It got in Tanganga's head. He couldn't keep up with him. He kept going past him. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's just one of those players.
Right, and Tanganga was out there covering because like Emerson could not stop Zaha. Zaha ate him alive over and over again. Like it was bad.
I actually didn't expect that because Emerson comes from Barcelona and they have a lot of flowing up the wing. From what I watched of La Liga, they like a back and forth game, a flowing game.
Yeah, but did Emerson Royal ever play for Barcelona? Like he played like one competitive match for them, I think, because like he was on loan last year and then he came back this summer with the expectation to play for them. He played one La Liga match and then Spurs came in and were like, "Yo, let's do it." And Barca was like, "Oh, you got money? We need money. We need money. You got money? Let's take that money."
Yeah. We need all the monies. Hey, Messi, do you want to come back?
We need to move on. We're talking about Spurs too much. Who wants to do that? Let's talk about a good team from North London. The best team from North London. The best.
What, Norwich?
They're not.
I know Norwich is not London.
Is this an Aston Villa moment, Brad?
No, I know they're not.
Is this your Aston Villa moment? Anyway, Arsenal on the board, baby. 3 points in the bag. Beat Norwich 1-0.
Offsides.
It was not offside. If you look at the
offsides,
if you look at it, you can see that Pepe passes the ball to Aubameyang and he is behind the ball. You just haven't seen this. You haven't seen the picture. I meant to find it and send it to you today, so you didn't make this mistake. But I will send it to you afterwards. But Aubameyang's behind the play. Not.
So okay. I'll wait till I see the picture.
Yeah, he's but also VAR.
That's questionable.
VAR looked at it, so like VA like that
holds no value.
That holds zero value in this conversation.
I think it holds.
Did they just see the picture? Did they just see a picture of 30 seconds before the ball was passed?
No, anyway, it was not offside, and I will find the picture and I will send it to you, Brad.
Did they see the picture after the goal?
Of Aubameyang celebrating?
I guess because they don't look at what happens; they look at what happened afterwards.
Oh, you're talking about the handball, the Reece James situation. I see now. I follow.
Yeah,
but
got me there.
Arsenal. I think Arsenal looked good. I mean, they were playing Norwich, so they should look good. But I mean, I think my takeaway from the game is it was a required 3 points. We got 3 points. I would have liked to see Arsenal score more goals with the amount of opportunities and shots we had. But 3 points is 3 points. I'll take it. And I think that the new signings all played really well. Our first choice center back pairing played together, with Gabriel finally being back from injury and White playing together. White had a couple really awesome passes to relieve pressure on the defense. Takahiro on the right, he looks like if he can continue, if he plays the way he played against Norwich, he will be a very, very solid signing. And Odegaard, I thought, played really well through the middle. And I'm happy. I'm very pleased. I want to see this Arsenal team succeed. I want to see Mikel Arteta succeed. And let's keep it going.
Is Partey injured?
He's coming back from injury.
Okay, I was just asking.
He got injured against Chelsea in the Mine series in the friendly. And so
okay.
that's why he hasn't been playing.
Okay.
Xhaka, of course, was suspended, but he's also been in Switzerland in quarantine because he got COVID. He just recently made it back to North London, I think like today or yesterday or something like that. And but he's still going to be suspended, I believe, because it was violent conduct for the next 2 matches.
We had a the Nile sighting. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think Ainsley played decently. I don't know if he convinced that he is. I feel really bad for Ainsley. I think so. Like this happened to him last year, where he had this move to Wolves lined up, and Arsenal would have made a decent amount of money on him, like 25 million or something like that last year to Wolves, and
why not?
And Arteta was like, no, like I need you. You're in my plans. And then for the first 6 months of the season, he didn't play.
He wasn't in his plans.
And then we loaned him to West Brom, and he plays a lot for West Brom because West Brom were a dumpster fire. But then he comes back and like there's no guarantee of his position, of his playing time, and he's like, let's find a solution. And Leicester, I'm pretty sure it was Leicester, right?
No.
Who was it?
It wasn't Leicester, but
was it? It was
Everton, I think, wasn't it?
Maybe it was Everton.
It was Everton.
Double check that. I think you might. It was someone. Maybe I'm making up. It wasn't Leicester. I think Everton sounds right. But they came in with like an equally good offer, like 20 million, 25 million, something like that. And Arsenal turn it down and tell Ainsley that he's got a spot in the squad. Was it Everton?
Yep. For about 15 mil, 14.4 mil. I was shaking my head for everybody listening.
So I just feel bad for Ainsley. Like he's clearly really low on the depth chart. I guess he might be above El Neni. I don't know, but that's not really saying much. I don't think he's going to play much, but I don't know. I think it was a good result. We got Burnley coming up at the weekend, and Burnley's did the double on us last year, so that gives me a little pause. But hopefully we can sort that out.
Another relegation 6-pointer.
Yeah, you know it, man. Gotta collect them.
Part of Burnley
already.
Of Burnley staying up last year was actually them popping up and hitting those big teams because I'm pretty sure they beat. They took 3 from United out of one of their games. They took 3. I know they took 3 from City.
Took 6.
I know they took
6
from Arsenal. Those are points that like keep you out of the relegation zone.
Yeah. So Brentford, it's kind of speaking.
Relegation
kind of about relegation situation. They're actually doing well, but they lost again.
Yeah.
They
lost for the first time.
Oh, they draw last weekend. That's right.
Win, draw.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they still have 5 points, which is good for them. And they lost to Brighton, who I thought Brighton were going down, but they look like they could stay up. They have 3 wins in the first 4 matches. That was not on my bingo card. I'll tell you that. But Brighton beat Brentford. I don't know if there's much takeaway from that personally. I think the more interesting game to talk about would be Leicester and City, because that kind of has pretty decent implications, just in terms of like where City are and where Leicester are, because Leicester were definitely pushing hard for those Champions League positions last year. I think once they got into the top 4 last year, they didn't leave the top 4 until like match week 38, I think.
Last week.
Yeah, where they squandered their position.
Started falling as we started rising.
But so Leicester, have 2 wins and 2 losses this season. They're on 6 points. That leaves them in 9th position. So they've lost to West Ham and City, and they've beaten Wolves and Norwich. So they won 2 games that they should have. Losing to West Ham is kind of a toss-up, but I feel like they had a red card in that match. And then they lost to City. I don't think you can ever fault somebody for losing to City, just because City is good, and they only lost 1-0. But I don't know. It seems like Leicester probably would have been expecting more at this point in the season.
For sure.
Yeah, they should probably be at 9 points. I mean, you could hope for 10 and being tied with everybody at the top. But yeah, I think that West Ham loss is a pretty bad result. Even I don't know. I forget the red card, but
it was.
I'm not saying it's. I wasn't saying it wasn't, but I'm saying like
it was pretty early in the game too. It was first half for sure. It was. I think it was like a goal for West Ham around the 20th minute, a 40th minute or so, a couple minutes before half, red card.
Yeah,
and then
you're exactly.
And then the other 3 goals were in the second half.
Yeah, you
including Leicester's.
Yeah,
so
you nailed that. You nailed that.
Wow.
The magic of power of Google on my other monitor. I just looked at it.
Okay.
A minute ago.
You could have taken the credit there, brother.
Thanks for blowing my cover. I wanted to touch on a point. I was going to wait for the Everton game.
Well, let's talk about it. We can do whatever you want, man.
Yeah. So I was going to wait, but I thought it was a really interesting point, and I didn't want to forget about it later. It was a tweet, and I couldn't find it, so I can't give credit, but it was that Damari Gray scored in only 7% of his games for Leicester. And granted, this is a skewed stat because he was there for probably, 2 or 3 years? 2 years?
Yeah.
Played a lot more games there, clearly, but has scored in almost 80% of his Everton games.
Survey says.
However, maybe it's a Damari Gray effect because they haven't looked. I think they've only scored multiple goals. They got a little Tottenham thing going on one time in their 2-1 win. Where were they?
Are you talking about who? Everton?
Leicester without him. Yeah, so they lost 1-0. They won 2-1 against Norwich, lost 4-1, and won 1-0. Yeah, so their offense, for what it's worth, I'm not out here saying Damari Gray is the next Thierry Henry, but for what it's worth, their offense definitely seems to be struggling. Yes, I picked him on purpose. Their offense definitely seems to be struggling without him, and Everton seems to be doing just fine with him.
I think Everton's form is more down to the manager, in my opinion. I think that they have a legit Premier League manager in there in Rafa Benitez.
Well, and I mean they came from Ancelotti, or Ancelotti, whatever his name is.
Wow, that's 0 for 2.
That's what I do.
No, try
Ancelotti.
Hey, there we go. 1 for 3.
Two C's makes a CH, buddy.
So they had Ancelotti in there before, so like I don't. Rafa's a great manager. Don't get me wrong. Like he did some wonderful things for Liverpool. That's a wow. I guess you go where money goes, right?
I mean, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be talking shit on Ancelotti, but
for Will, do you want to give a run at Bonucci, center back for Juventus?
But
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. No chance.
Bonucci.
I knew that.
Same thing. Double C.
Hey, we're getting closer to your Chiellini shirt, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see. You already dropped the points.
We dropped the 1 point. I said we would, but we'll get to there.
Or the 2 points. Yeah, well, we'll see.
Getting us back on track. United, Newcastle. Ronaldo's back. Scored 2 goals. His first was a tap-in, so I've been saying he's a tap-in merchant, so I feel vindicated there. I meant to go back and watch the match to see who was taking United's free kicks, because I hope and pray that it's Ronaldo, because that means they will score 0 free kicks this season.
I think it's Bruno.
I really hope it's Ronaldo. I really hope it's Ronaldo. I mean, I don't think has Bruno scored a free kick for? I'm sure he scored at least one. I don't know, but Ronaldo.
He's always dangerous with them. He's at least he gets it on. I'm not
Bruno. You're talking about Bruno
every
right?
time. Yeah, Bruno. Yeah.
Well, Bruno's more dangerous than Ronaldo at this point.
Dangerous. Yeah. I think it's just because Ronaldo's old style was. I remember learning about it where he would put the point where you pump up the ball, where his toe's going to hit, so that it would wobble and move, and that just I don't think that's working for him anymore. And he clearly still does it because he strikes the heck out of it, and he doesn't. Yeah.
He just doesn't put a lot of touch. He just doesn't have the accuracy anymore in terms of free kick taking. He did his second goal was really good. Some open play, he put it between the keeper's legs on kind of a fast-paced breakaway for United. A couple quick passes, and they cut through the Newcastle defense. The second goal was good. Second goal was really good. I thought it was really well taken. He showed a lot of speed. But I think the goal in that, the nicest goal in that game was the Bruno Fernandes goal. Center of the box, really I think it was something like 20, 24 yards, something like that. It struck really well, bending away from the keeper into the top corner. It was really nice.
Of note, the Ronaldo goal. Pretty sure that's if you're that good and have a weak foot. That was his left foot, 5-hole. It was really well struck. Not much the keeper could do.
No, it was a great goal.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a lot of hype. It's his first game back at home back in Man United colors. So he got his 2 goals. Let's see what goes on in the future. One is a tap in. I think that's what's going to happen.
Ole came out and said today that he's not going to play every game. So that's Red Card Radio broke that news 2 weeks ago. So we had that first, and Ole's just coming out and confirming what we had already told the people.
Listening to the pod, we found our English listener.
Yeah.
Another tweet I want to make sure to talk about was they talked about Ronaldo leader on and off the field. It was anecdote about the team dinner the night before, where the last meal before, not the last meal before the game, but the last meal of the day before.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty important one. And normally at the end, they all have apple cobbler or a brownie or something like that. And no one touched theirs. They all looked at Ronaldo's plate, and it had quinoa and nuts and healthy stuff on it. And no one ended eating their cobbler.
Ronaldo is a freak. The dude,
it's like the Brady thing. Yeah,
there's a reason why at 36, 37, 38, he's still playing.
Yeah,
and he looks the way he does. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Let's talk about this Chelsea Villa match. So, I think that Villa have been the most hard done team by this by this international break, in my opinion, because I'm fairly certain that Aston Villa basically were like, okay, we understand that they sanctioned Martinez and Buendia going to the first Argentina match against Brazil, and they were okay, and they understood that they were going to quarantine for 10 days and before they got them back. But then Liverpool and anybody who has Brazilian players who didn't release the Brazilian players, FIFA stipulates that if Brazil wants to, they can force those players to be suspended for 5 days. And it looked like that was going to happen. That Brazil was going to force those players to be suspended because the teams refused to release them for an official FIFA calendar match. Ultimately, Brazil relented, and so those Brazilian players were available for selection. But Villa still have to deal with the fact that those players were gone. And other players that were just told that we're not going to leave, or you're not allowed to go. There's no punishment for breaking the rules. I don't throw Tottenham into the mix for the Argentinian players because it sounds like Tottenham are going to find their Argentinian players, so they didn't sanction them going. So Tottenham are just as bad as the clubs who didn't let the Brazilian players go.
That's
in my
not
opinion.
true, right? The reason we only had one center back on the bench is Romero was on an island somewhere in quarantine.
Yeah, but
In Croatia.
what I'm saying though is that Spurs are going to find their Argentinian players apparently when they get back to London. That's the report. Is that Spurs were not cool with their Argentinian players going, whereas Villa they're not gonna suspend or fine Martinez or Buendia.
Okay.
And so I'm saying that because Villa did the right thing, they're getting punished, and I have issues with that. That was my one soapbox moment for the week. But Brad, you can talk to us about this the actual football that happened.
We were clinical for once. It feels so good to say that. Lukaku had 2 chances and he had 2 goals. His first goals ever as a senior player for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It seems like
that is
it's
embarrassing.
a hard stat, right? Yeah, it's like 9 years after his debut, so so anything Ronaldo can do, I can do better. 2 goals. Sal had his
you didn't do
debut.
it better, did you?
We didn't give up goals like United did.
He's not a defender. You said anything Ronaldo can do, I can do better, and he scored the same amount of goals. He's not a defender. What?
And he has more goals than Ronaldo. So
I don't think
Ronaldo's played in 1 game.
We shouldn't be comparing Lukaku to Ronaldo because Lukaku is obviously better. So the fact that you're trying to at this point in their career, that's the point I'm trying to make, that Lukaku is a better player than Ronaldo at this point in their career. Ronaldo's a better player overall, holistically.
Incendiary.
I think Ronaldo's the best player that's ever played. So don't get it twisted.
Wow, that's a hot take.
I put Ronaldo above Messi personally.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Incendiary.
But I think that Lukaku is above Ronaldo in this moment. So I think that's an L on your take, Brad, for comparing Lukaku to Ronaldo. In my opinion,
okay.
I think you're punching down.
You're still winning. That's okay. Salah had his debut. Wasn't that great? Jorginho came on, got control back, and we cruised to victory. Mendy had a couple of great saves.
Yeah, he did.
He had a couple of scary moments there. But we played well. Got in, got the win, got out. Keelaney's calling, Sean. 2 weeks away from it.
Also like to point out that you didn't get in, get out of anything you were playing at home.
True. Quickly, we're going to touch on this. Quickly, I want to touch on this Liverpool Leeds match because I just looked at the time, and so yeah, this was a really kind of a bittersweet game for Liverpool. Yeah, they got the 3 points, but they lose Harvey Elliott for probably the season. It was a very bad tackle, in my opinion, from behind, kind of like scissoring to a degree, and dislocates the young man's ankle. I hope it doesn't have long-lasting ramifications on his speed, on his things like that, on his ability to play football. I think the best thing to say about it is that he is 18, and so hopefully his body can recover. But that's Liverpool were put a lot of importance, I would say, on Harvey Elliott and what he was going to provide for them this season in terms of cover and whatnot. And losing him this early in the season, I think, is really going to be bad for them. I think that they're going to be short in a lot of positions, or they're going to be playing players they didn't intend to play as much. And that's the nature of any football season, like, because an injury can happen to a main player or like an important player at any point in the season. But for a team that didn't do a lot of business, I think it just is compounding that fact. It compounds that.
Which one of us had Leeds near the relegation zone after 4 weeks? I don't think any of us did.
Yeah, I mean they're feast or famine, right? So like they're either eating or they're losing. Like I don't think that how many draws did they have last season? Like,
oh yeah,
very few.
Half of the games already are draws.
Yeah,
this is a weird one. They can turn it around, or if Bielsa ball is done.
Calm down. All right.
Four games in.
So we got a lot of football on our plate coming up this week. I don't think we're going to be able to watch it all personally. But so starting on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week coming up, we've got the Champions League. Thursday, we have the Europa League. Thursday, we have the UEFA Conference League. And then starting on Friday, we've got Premier League matches. A couple interesting Champions League matches. We've got Young Boys are hosting United on Tuesday. Barcelona are hosting Bayern Munich on Tuesday. Chelsea plays Zenit St. Petersburg. On Wednesday, City play Leipzig. Liverpool play Milan. That'll be a good game. And Inter Milan play Real Madrid. That will be a fun match. I was going to bring up the who Malmo was playing, but it's kind of some small team in 16th in Italy, so it's kind of inconsequential.
Next week, next game week for Champions League will be a big one.
So yeah, I think I of course highlighted the English teams in the Champions League and who they're playing, because the United Young Boys game isn't going to be that good. But Barcelona and Bayern and Inter Madrid, those should be some fun matchups.
Yeah.
I think that should be some good. On Thursday, West Ham is away to Dynamo Zagreb, and Leicester is hosting Napoli. I think the Leicester-Napoli game should be very good.
That's interesting.
In the Conference League, Spurs are away in France to Rennes. I think that. What's up, Brad?
No, I think that's where Mendy's from.
Yeah, I think that's clearly a W for for Spurs, but I stand firm on the fact that Tottenham should only play the children in the Conference League. They should provide that competition with zero respect, in my opinion. But my team's not playing in Europe, so I can't really speak.
Man,
I'm just the host of the podcast that has to talk about competitions that my team doesn't play in. So, any thoughts about Zenit St. Petersburg, Brad?
I think we're going to see a good amount of rotation. We saw rotation this weekend against Villa. I think that continues.
Here's my hot take. Here's my hot take for this match. You guys are getting to host the team from Russia in September. That means you guys have to go to Russia in December. Have fun with that. Enjoy St. Petersburg in December.
St. Petersburg's pretty far north, too.
It'll probably be the children by then, because we'll probably have locked up Champions League. Like the group stage, so we'll be playing the kids.
It's gonna be played with the orange ball because it'll be snowing.
Yeah,
my English geography has already been challenged, but I'm almost certain that St. Petersburg is up there, getting close to Finland border. Correct? It's getting up that way. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure St. Petersburg is on the water, right?
It's like north of Moscow for a while.
Yes, it is north.
A couple hundred miles. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many miles.
Yeah, you're correct. It actually is close to the Finland border.
Yeah, it's getting up there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm impressed here.
Yeah. I got to recover after I said Aston Villa is a great London team.
All those European history classes at the University of Virginia's College at Y. Shout out, UVA-Y's. Sponsor this podcast.
Or some monies.
We all sent you enough money. Why don't you throw it back to us, guys?
Yeah.
Anyway.
For just 17 cents a day, you can sponsor this podcast.
EPL,
well, for real though.
EPL this weekend. We're just gonna move on to the EPL. Newcastle hosting Leeds on Friday. The lovely Friday fixture is back. Wolves are hosting Brentford on Saturday. Burnley hosting Arsenal. Liverpool are hosting Crystal Palace, the bane of Tottenham's existence. Manchester City hosting Southampton. Norwich host Watford. Villa host Everton, which probably should be a spicy game. Brighton host Leicester. West Ham host United. And Spurs host Chelsea, which is probably the premier matchup of this weekend. I think the Brighton, Leicester, West Ham United, and Chelsea Spurs-Chelsea games. So those games are all on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
we should because we play Thursday. Yeah,
we're Sunday.
That Spurs-Chelsea game, that could be an interesting match. What do you guys think? Tell me what's going to happen.
So, I got a couple of questions.
Punch each other.
Tanganga's out. What is Dyer's injury? Is Dyer out?
I hadn't seen an update yet.
And
so it's.
Romero gets back into the country the day before.
I mean, he's clearly going to play. They can't afford to suspend him.
I think he has to play,
They
right?
don't have any center backs.
It's Rodon and Romero and a prayer that neither one of them gets hurt.
Oh God.
Yo, Lukaku's
I can't
gonna
wait for the
feast.
Rodon memes. I cannot wait for the Rodon memes. It's gonna be worse than the Arsenal game. Rodon's gonna get eaten alive here.
Yeah,
I'm for this.
Lukaku.
Yeah, no, Chelsea's clearly winning this.
Tell me why he's wrong, Sean.
He's not.
All right.
The only way we get out of that is best case scenario, just like the City game. Best case scenario is a draw, especially with our defensive woes right now. So yeah, playing for a draw.
Yeah.
Do you think he keeps Royal and Reguilon at the wing at the left and right back?
I mean, are you putting Sessegnon at right back? I mean, what we can't
Dele Alli.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't play a 3-man because we've only got. We can't play a 3-man back because we've only got 2 center backs.
Wait, no. Do you though? And like throw wings back there?
No.
I mean, Sessegnon could be a right wing, but then that doesn't give you much. You'd have to play Davies on the other side because that doesn't give you much for a defense.
Could you imagine Winks playing in the center of defense against?
It's got to be Skipper. It's got to be Højbjerg or Skip is the emergency
or
center
Skip.
back.
Sorry, Skip. Sorry, I meant Skip instead of Winks. So that's my fault. I meant Skip instead of Winks.
It's got to be those two. It's not going to be Winks.
Winks would get eaten. It would be so bad.
Winks gets confused in the midfield.
Yeah. Could you imagine him trying to figure out where Lukaku is?
Yeah.
They're all getting eaten. It's going to be disgusting. I'm here for this. But the only saving grace is away to Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm here for Brad's confidence, because hopefully he can get chopped at the knees a little bit. I would be here for that. What am I rooting for in this game? Because Arsenal play Tottenham after North London derby for each other coming up at match week 6. If Spurs lose to Chelsea and Arsenal beat Burnley, Arsenal only 3 points behind Tottenham. Can catch Tottenham on the North London derby. Ooh, that's pressure on Nuno. Still more pressure on Arteta. Yeah, I don't know. I think that'll be a fun game to watch. Other than that, I think the other best game that weekend is Villa Everton. I think that'll be a good game.
That's interesting. Brighton Leicester might be interesting. I don't know. It might be interesting. Brighton's playing very well.
Norwich and Watford is the championship match of the weekend. That could be a good game because they're
yes, it is.
They're familiar with each other from last season, so that could be a good game as well. So I think there are a couple interesting matchups. Of course, the pinnacle being that London derby.
They probably would have had that as the Sunday night game anyway, but if it weren't a European weekend. But it was going to be the last game possible because of us in the Conference Cup and them in the Champions League.
The Conference Cup.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever it's called.
You guys are on a short. That's a tough game to play after Thursday.
2 days less than them. It kind of stinks, but it is what it is. That's what we get for finishing 7th.
Yeah.
That's the punishment.
Yeah, all of your games are going to be played on Sunday. So yeah, all right. I think that's about it. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I'm gonna repost the Chiellini shirt after this London derby.
Are you actually gonna do it this time?
I am.
Okay.
I have a reminder on my phone to do it.
All right. Will hold him accountable because you did last time.
Hold me accountable to this. I'm gonna post it. I'll even tag you. I'll put it on Facebook and tag you in it.
You know that man doesn't use Facebook. All right.
I know. Never.
So as always, if you could like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, ring that sub notifier, turn your notifications on, all those kind of things to help us reach more people. We really appreciate it. Share it with your mother, share it with your brother. We really appreciate that. Up top here, if you're watching on YouTube, that's at KSBradG on Twitter. He's our resident Chelsea supporter and Miss Speaker-in-Chief. Down below us is Sean. He is our geography master. That's right. At Whiteheart_Sean. I'm at James Tiffany. All of that's on Twitter. We collectively are at Redcard_radio. Give us a shout if you're watching football this weekend or football midweek. Let us know what you think. And until next time, we will see you all later.
Adios.